All right, here we go. We are live and we are rolling. So I believe we are good to go. So cool. Thank you, Maida, so much for jumping on this, what we're going to call podcast interview call. Still to be determined, but I appreciate it so much. I wanted to start by just having a little icebreaker. And before we get into the fitness stuff, just tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and one thing about you that maybe not everybody knows.
Okay, my name's Myra Moreno. Born and raised in Greeley, Colorado. Something that people may not know is I love to travel and plan a heavy amount of traveling throughout my year.
As your nutrition and fitness coach, I can attest to this. We tackle the travel plans quite a bit. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I love it. What's your favorite place you've been to?
Mm, I would probably have to say the Dominican Republic. I
Mm.
feel like traveling outside of the States has definitely been one of my favorite things to do. And aside from there, I've only traveled to Mexico with my family. So that was like a different culture shock for me that I enjoyed being a part of.
Yeah, no doubt. That's really cool. That's a long trip. How long did it take to get there?
It a while. We had like a 5 hour layover in New York, and I think it took us like a total of 12 hours to get there. So it
Dang.
was definitely rough traveling, but worth it at the end.
Good. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Love getting out of the country. That's really cool. All right, cool. So, one thing I wanted to ask before we get into like details and stuff. So, if you could go back and talk to the old version of yourself before we started working together, before you started the program, what would you tell her?
If I could go back to my old self and tell myself something, it definitely would be to stop doubting myself, get out of my own head, and just do it. Because I feel like before I really doubted myself, where I was like, well, I can't start going to the gym, I can't do these things, and now I'm doing it.
Yes, that self-doubt. Dang, that's a big one. I appreciate that. Really cool. Really cool. Because, yeah, now you're somebody who loves the gym. You're there every freaking day. I love it.
Yeah, and even on the days I don't love it, I'm still there.
Yes, that's a fact. That's commitment. All right,
Right.
cool. So we're just going to jump into some of these core questions. Before you joined the program, where were you mentally and also physically?
Um, Before I joined the program, physically, I was not staying active at all. I wouldn't even say like I was walking regularly. I was definitely not going to the gym. Mentally, definitely struggling. Just like staying motivated with even sleep wise, struggling overall, like not having energy. And I think really hating the body that I was in, didn't have motivation to do anything. So it just created like a negative energy around me in all aspects of my life.
Yeah, dang, that's huge. That's huge. How long had you been struggling with that, with your weight?
I think it's definitely been an insecurity for a long time, as long as I can remember, probably like around middle school.
Dang, okay, long time. And how old are you now? Just to put it into perspective.
I'm 28 years old now.
28. Okay. So quite a bit. All right. Dang, good for you. This is awesome. I can't wait to get into like the progress you've made. So, what were you struggling with the most at that time before we started?
I think the thing that I was struggling with the most is I didn't know where to start exactly, like with the nutrition and the fitness. And then even when I thought I was motivated and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this, I was trying to do everything that wasn't realistic at first. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything perfect. Like I'm gonna go to gym, I'm gonna do all these things, and then I'd quickly run into failure, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna do it, and then it just would spiral down from there.
Mm, dang. Did you attempt that more than once where you just were chasing your tail, then kind of fell off track?
Yeah, I started and ended my fitness journey. I don't even know how many times, and definitely discouraging. And definitely, I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm coming back to it. Now we're doing this again. But I would say I am better every time I come back, and it's motivating. And I'm like, now I know that I can do it. So it's not the same self doubt that I had before. So I'm like, you have no excuses this time around.
Yes, I love that. And that's one thing, that we hit on our Monday group calls is we're all going to fail. Like we're all going to get, shut down from time to time um and fall off track, whether it's vacations or social events or sicknesses, whatever. But the key to fitness and making this a lifestyle is exactly what you said, knowing we're going to get knocked down, but how quick can we get back up? And you said right there, every time you would restart, you would be in a better place than when you quit the last time. And now, after, multiple attempts, it's all finally clicking for you. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Heck
for
yeah.
sure.
Good. Love that. Okay. What you said you would like try to go all out to the gym and whatnot, and then you would fail. What kind of things, like, did you try other diets or other workout programs before? Tell me a little bit about that.
I did start a couple of different like workouts that I was doing where like our nutrition was really limited, and then like we weren't doing any workouts, or I was like, okay, I'm not going to track what I'm eating at all, but I am going to go to the gym and just like hit it really hard. So there was different methods and different programs that I tried, and I think that while some of them I would see small results, it also I was running into a wall where it just wasn't realistic for me long term. And I'm like, okay, like I can eat these restricted meals and like limit my calories so much, but I can't eat these meals for the rest of my life. And I want to enjoy like a pizza here and there. So definitely did try some before.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Love that. Love that. Okay. So early on, before we started working together, did you have any hesitations before jumping into my program specifically?
I did. I think that some of the hesitations that I had are that I already had done previous programs. So I'm like, okay, like what's going to be different on this one? I'm going to start it and see some progress and then quickly go backwards. And I think, as I mentioned before, like that self doubt where I'm like, I see Esai going to the gym every single day. I can't go to the gym every single day. Food wise, I was like, okay, like Esai's posting his food and like I don't know what to eat. So, just I think some of those like unknowns for me that I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this.
Gotcha. Okay. So a lot of unknown, just like, is this actually going to work for me? I don't know what to eat or what workouts to do. Okay.
Right.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. I love that. So what finally made you say, okay, I'm doing this and I'm ready to roll?
Um, I think the first time that I started working with you, it truly was I just got tired of myself where I'm like, okay, like I hate the body that I'm living in. I hate how I'm feeling every day. Like I don't have any energy. And the reality is that the only person that can change that is myself, and I'm not going to be able to change it doing all the same things that I'm doing, not going to the gym, not even attempting. So I think it really was where I was like, okay, I'm doing all of these, trying all these different things and nothing's working. There's something that I obviously have to change in myself. And I think it just really comes down to being tired of myself.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Okay. Well, that speaks volume to where you were versus where you're at now, which is really, really cool. So, what surprised you once we actually started working together?
Um, I think one of the things that surprised me the most is that you had told me you're like, just keep it simple and just start like you were like if we start with going 3 days to the gym, and I'm like, what, you don't want me to go 7 days? So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't as huge as a commitment as I thought initially. And I was like, okay, this is doable. These are things that I can do. And even with some of the meals, like I would look up meals by myself and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look up this macro friendly meal. And then you were like, and I remember it to this day because you're like, Maida, just keep it simple. Like chicken, rice, and your veggies. And then I'm like, okay, you're right. So then I like did that and it worked for me and I started hitting all my macros. So I think just the reality of it's not as difficult as we want to make it.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. I would like to think that I keep the steps very simple based on where you're at. Everybody's at a different spot, and not everybody's ready to like hit the gym, hit my macros, take my foundational supplements, and do everything perfect out the gate. But yeah, that's where we started. I was like, just start tracking your food. Just keep your meals simple, like a protein source, a carb source, and a veggie, and we can make this happen. So good. I'm glad that simplicity worked for you. Um, Okay. What part of the what part of the program early on do you think like you got a grasp of that really helped you, that really kickstarted things for you?
Um, I think definitely probably the gym. I know that I forgot to, or one of the things that I forgot to mention was that the gym was another part that was kind of a scary thing for me because I'm like, I don't know like what I'm gonna do and work out. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be doing it right. What if I'm embarrassing myself at the gym? So I think the program actually having like videos and just like the descriptions too that will show you like how to do it was really really helpful because I'm like, okay, now I have no excuse to why like I can't go and do it. And I think even just taking that a step further with you, like I really appreciated being able to send you the videos of me actually doing the workout, and I'm like, hey, is my form off, is it not? And then even at one point you were like, you should record them yourself, and then you look at them and like you see if you're doing them right. So I think that all of those things help me get to like, hey, I'm not just in the gym doing this workout, like I actually have to invest in myself that I'm doing them correctly.
Yeah, really good stuff. And now that you mentioned that, you haven't sent me a video in a handful of weeks, so it sounds like to me you have a grasp on almost all the exercises at this point. Is that true?
I like to think so. I think I struggle with them still, but I've also like sometimes I'll look them up and I'm like, okay, like let me see this. And then I've also started recording myself. So then sometimes I am just critiquing myself versus sending them to you.
Perfect. I love that. Good. Taking some accountability there. Really, really good. Okay. All right, cool. Let's get into the good stuff. What what physical changes have you had since working with me inside the program?
Physical changes, I would say that since I've started, I'm officially down 49 pounds from my highest weight or heaviest. I also feel so much better physically, like when I go to the gym. Some days obviously are easier than others. I don't want to say every day is easy when I get there, but I'm more ready to be active, even like if I'm on going on a walk. Definitely those things are easier for me. And then my body wise, like I could feel it like being more toned versus like just carrying all this heavy weight on me. So more, it goes beyond just definitely losing those pounds.
Wow. And you said you're down how much?
49 pounds.
49 pounds. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, if you go grab one of those big 45-pound plates at the gym, just to put that into perspective of how much weight you're down, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Good for you. That's awesome.
go pick up this like dumbbell that's 10, like whatever. And then every time that it gets heavier, I'm like, it's so crazy to think now that like this is what I was carrying on me. And then it just gets heavier and heavier. And I'm like, okay, definitely don't want that back.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Awesome. Really, really good. Okay. So, diving into that a little bit, like, are your clothes, you said, are your clothes fitting a little bit better than before?
Yeah, I had to get rid of a lot of clothes last year, which was super exciting. And it was exciting because I was like I could go buy more now. But yeah, even just outfits before that, sometimes I would buy them and I'm like, okay, like it fits, but I don't really like how it looks. Now I'm like, I love the way that this feels and that it looks. So definitely see that with my clothes as well.
I love that. Good. So cool. And then also, like, with that, how does your body feel just like day to day now that you're down 49 pounds?
Um, so much better. I feel like again, the active part of it, like I'm like, okay, now I don't feel like I'm just sluggish and like dragging myself around everywhere. Like I'm like, okay. One of the biggest things that I always joke around about at work is when I would go up the stairs before, it's not like a lot of flight of stairs, but I would like die going up one of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. And now I'm like, oh, I could go up these stairs all day. So I'm like, even just little changes like okay, now I would purposely avoid it. I'm like, let me go get the elevator, and then now I'm like, okay, you're not gonna die going up these stairs.
No doubt. Yeah, those small things like you really don't think about until until it's actually a huge problem, or once you find out on the other side that it's like, oh my gosh, this is so easy now. I love that. Good for you. Okay. And also, like, how has your confidence, kind of shifted over that last, 49 pounds?
Definitely feel a lot better with myself. As I mentioned, it was an insecurity since forever ago. So I'm like, I would just hate it. Like, even taking pictures. Like, I would travel with my best friend and we would go somewhere. And she's like, oh, can you take a picture of me in like this spot? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, do you want me to take one of you? And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, let's just leave. Like, let's move on. Or even with other people, I didn't want to do that. Where now, like, after we go traveling and she takes her, she's like, do you want one? I'm like, heck yes, like take a picture of me now. So I think that before and kind of
Yeah.
where I would hide, now I'm like, no, let me stand out.
Yes, yes. Oh man, that's another one. You don't think about like not wanting to be in pictures and stuff like that. Dang, really, really cool. I'm really proud of you, Maida. You've made some crazy progress since we've been working together. All right. So let me ask you this. Oh, real quick. Are you connected to your Wi-Fi by chance? It was kind of glitching out a little bit.
I'm not connected to my Wi-Fi on this one, no.
Okay. Do you have good Wi-Fi there? Could you connect to it?
Yeah, give me just a sec.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like now I'm connected to it.
Okay. I don't know if that would hope maybe be a little better. It was glitching out just a little bit, which is okay because I think this app records on your side, and then on my side it records me. So I think we're good still, but just to be safe. Um, okay, cool. Let's see. How has this, since you've dropped the 49 pounds and being on this journey now, how has this affected other areas of your life? Any like relationships, work, energy, mood, anything else?
I think it would affect me in every aspect, even things that I didn't necessarily think of. I think mood, I definitely am in a better mood. It's so funny because one of my coworkers, like, she was like, oh, like you look good. And she was like, you look like you're glowing and you just look so much like happier. And I'm like, and even at first, like, I didn't feel it. Like, I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just here. So, like, getting other people to recognize that. Sleep wise, it's so crazy because my journey also obviously has not been perfect. So I've been on and off. And like, I think even if I fall off for a week or two, it's crazy how much it affects my sleep. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm sleeping horribly. And then I'm like, I know what the answer is. Like, I need to start doing better. I need to go to the gym. So that like quickly motivates me. Relationships. It's interesting too, because when I first started initially, like I had this like secretive thing too where I was like, I don't want anybody to know what like that I'm doing this. And then over time, like it's noticeable. Like people are like, hey, like you're losing weight. And it's crazy because while I wanted to be secretive about it, like people were so supportive about it. And like my dad loves going to the gym and he's like, let's go together. And I'm like, and then sometimes he'll turn into a competition and he's like, how much did you lift at the gym? Because I lifted like but it's definitely one of those reactions that I think I was fearful at first, and I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna like joke or be like, ah, like look, you're trying to do this, and it was like the complete opposite. So that's something that I really appreciated as well.
Dang, dang. Yeah, talk about a mindset shift with trying to keep this on the DL, but everybody else noticed because you're looking great and making all this progress. You're like, well, there's no hiding it now. I've been putting in work. So
Yeah.
that's so cool. I love that. So on that note, what would you say to any other ladies out there that are debating jumping into, my program specifically, if they're on the fence about it? What would you say about that?
I think despite all those fears, like the important thing that I would say to them is just go ahead and again start it, do it. Like realize that it's not going to be perfect. You're going to have days that are hard, but I think that while you have somebody that's accountable and cares about your progress as well, it's so much easier than trying to do it on your own, especially when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where to start. And then also somebody that's understanding. Like I would fail and then I'm like, oh my gosh, Esai's gonna get me in trouble. Now I don't know what to do. Like you're my teacher. And then like you would come back so understanding and you're like, hey, my dad, it happens. Like this is how we come back tomorrow. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it's not the end of the world. So I think getting rid of those fears and those doubts, and it's gonna work for you. You have to find what works for you. Obviously it looks different for everyone, but it's 1,000% doable and worth it if you want to put in the work.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, back to like what you had said in the very beginning about how many times you had felt like you had failed and this didn't work, and you're like, how is this going to be different? It just goes to show like you were starting to feel that even inside, even working with me, like, oh crap, I failed. What am I going to tell Esai? You would disappear from me for, stints at a time. And every time I had to reel you back in, Maida, what's going on? It's okay if you fell off. Let's talk about it, accept responsibility, and like let's look at the next step forward. So I'm really proud of you for not giving up. That's really, really cool. Um, awesome. So, in one sentence, how would you describe your overall experience inside the program?
Um, I'm like, let me think about that because I will ramble beyond one sentence.
You so condense it to one sentence, and then you can expand. How about
Okay,
that?
I would say my experience has been an ongoing journey, but one that I wouldn't trade or change.
I love that. I love that. Tell me more about that.
I think that, like I mentioned, it has not been easy to this day. There's days that I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I start over. I initially was just going to the gym just because I'm like, well, Esai told me to go to the gym. And like, each time I come back and I'm like, okay, like, now I have to make sure I'm actually just doing these workouts right. And you were like, hey, Maida, like, are you actually going up in weights like that you're lifting? Or are you just, and I'm like, no, I'm actually just lifting because you're telling me to. So I think that each time I come back better and I learn more about myself, what I'm capable of, like what my journey looks like. And I'm like, it's not over. Like, even if I fail again, I know that I'm going to come back and I'm going to be okay. And I wouldn't change those because even though I'd want to come back or wanted to say, oh, let me start from the beginning perfect and I never mess up and this is like what I'm doing, realistically, like those lessons are what helped me get to where I am today. Those lessons were the things that on a weekend where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna drink, and I'm like, oh, I didn't gain any weight. Let me go do that again next weekend and drink for the whole weekend. And then I had to like really learn my like, hey, you can probably get away with that once or twice, but then you're gonna be paying the price for it later. So I think that those mess ups are what helped me get here.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that you just own that you didn't just like hit the ground running right out the gate and did everything perfect, and that's how you lost 49 pounds. You're very open about how I've fallen off, gotten back on track, fallen off, gotten back on track, different trips, different concerts, and different events, and like you said, enjoying life. You're enjoying your life, and it's not about like being all in or all out, like that all or nothing mindset. Sometimes we just crank it down a little bit. If you're going to go on a trip and I tell you, okay, go enjoy it, protein first, like don't drink every single night of this trip, but enjoy your trip. When you come back, we'll lock back in, and it's really, I think that's the main piece that I try to get across to people is like, listen, we don't have to eat fish and broccoli 3 times a day for the rest of your life and you don't get to enjoy anything. It's an ongoing process. I love that you framed it that way as an ongoing process. That was beautifully said. I love that. Cool. So That is all the questions I had. Is there anything else you want to mention about your journey, your transformation, or anything at all?
Um, I think the last thing that I'd want to mention is, like I said before, it looks different for everyone. You're gonna figure out what works for you. Some weeks are gonna be harder than others, but if you want it, it's gonna be worth it. And if you want it, you'll figure out exactly how to do it. I have weeks still where I have to move my cardio days around because I prefer to do them Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then I look at my schedule. Some weeks I'm like, well, now I can't do it Thursday. Now we're moving it. But instead of before, I would give myself these easy excuses that I'm like, oh, it's fine. Just don't go to the gym that day. Now I'm like, okay, realistically, you can move it. You just don't want to. It gets easier with time. When I first started, I was so nice to myself and gave myself every excuse and break that I could. And then I realized that when I stopped doing that, I was making progress quicker. So I'm like, how quickly do you want to get to your goal weight?
Yeah, yeah, love that. Nicely said. Perfect, Maida. Well, cool. Thank you so much for doing this podcast interview with me. I'm gonna end the recording here and we'll close it out.